There is a question that millions of people are too ashamed to ask out loud. Why can I not leave? Not why do I not want to leave? Not why is it complicated? But why, even when I know with complete clarity that this relationship is hurting me, even when I can see exactly what is happening, even when every rational part of me knows I need to go, why does it feel physically impossible to actually leave? You've probably been given answers to this question before. You are too dependent. You are afraid of being alone. You have low self-esteem. You do not love yourself enough. And those answers, every single one of them, completely miss what is actually happening. Because the reason you cannot leave has nothing to do with weakness, nothing to do with low self-worth, nothing to do with any personal failure on your part. It has to do with your brain. Specifically, what your brain does when it is exposed to a very particular pattern of reward and punishment that it was never designed to resist. That pattern has a name: trauma bonding. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand something about why you stayed, why leaving feels impossible, and why the standard advice about toxic relationships almost never works, in a way that nothing else has ever explained to you before. Stay until the end, because the final part of this video, where we talk about what actually breaks a trauma bond, is the part that changes everything. Part 1. What trauma bonding actually is. Trauma bonding is not just being attached to someone who hurts you. That description is too simple. And its simplicity is why most people who are trauma bonded do not recognize it in themselves. Trauma bonding is a specific psychological and neurological response to a very specific pattern of interaction. A pattern that was first identified in hostage situations, in prisoners of war, in kidnapping victims, in people who developed inexplicable loyalty to their captors, and has since been recognized in intimate relationships, family dynamics, and workplace situations around the world. The pattern looks like this: abuse or mistreatment, followed by relief, kindness, affection, remorse, the return of warmth, then calm, then abuse again. That cycle, that specific alternation between pain and relief, does something to the human brain that almost nothing else can do. It creates a bond that is chemically, neurologically, and psychologically stronger than almost any bond formed in a healthy relationship. Not because the relationship is good, because it is unpredictable. Because the brain, when subjected to unpredictable cycles of pain and reward, goes into a particular mode of hyper-focused attachment that evolution designed for survival, not for happiness, not for health, but for survival. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what brains do when they are exposed to this pattern. The problem is that the pattern is being created by someone who is supposed to love you. Part 2. Why your brain cannot simply choose to leave. Here is what nobody explains when they tell you to just leave. Every time there is a period of kindness after a period of pain in a trauma bond, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, the same neurotransmitter that drives addiction, the same chemical response that makes gambling so impossible to stop, not because you win often, but because the wins are unpredictable. Neuroscience has shown us that unpredictable rewards create stronger neurological responses than consistent rewards. The brain pays more attention to unpredictable positive experiences than predictable ones. It becomes more activated, more engaged, more chemically invested. Which means, and this is the part that changes everything when you truly understand it, the abuse is not despite the bond. It is partly because of it. The pain makes the relief more powerful. The withdrawal makes the return more intense. The coldness makes the warmth feel like the sun coming out after a storm. And your nervous system becomes calibrated to that cycle. It starts to expect it. It starts to need it. The highs feel higher because the lows were so low. The good moments feel more precious because they are so uncertain. This is not a character flaw. This is neurochemistry. And you cannot think your way out of neurochemistry with willpower alone. Part 3. The 7 stages of a trauma bond. Understanding the stages is how you recognize the pattern while you are inside it. Stage 1. Love bombing. It starts with overwhelming intensity. More attention than you have ever received. More affection, more pursuit. They seem to see you in a way nobody has ever seen you. They make you feel like the most important person in the world. This is not accidental, and it is not always conscious, but the effect is the same. You form a powerful, positive attachment before you have had the chance to see who this person actually is over time.
That powerful, positive attachment becomes the baseline you spend the rest of the relationship trying to return to. Stage 2. Trust and dependency. As the intensity of the beginning settles into something that feels more like a relationship, you become dependent. Not in a healthy way, but in the way that happens when someone has made themselves the center of your emotional world before you realized they were doing it. Your self-esteem, your sense of security, your daily emotional stability, all of it has become connected to this person's behavior toward you. That dependency is not love. It is groundwork. Stage 3. Criticism and devaluation. The person who saw you so completely in the beginning now begins to find fault. Slowly at first, then more consistently. Your confidence starts to erode. You start working harder to get back to how things felt at the beginning. You start changing yourself, your behavior, your standards, your sense of what you deserve, to try to restore what feels lost. Stage 4. Gaslighting and manipulation. As you try to address what is happening, as you try to name the shift, to get back to the beginning, to understand what went wrong, you find that the conversation itself becomes a trap. Your concerns get turned around, your memory gets questioned, your perception gets undermined. You start to lose your grip on what is real. And without a firm grip on reality, you cannot make clear decisions, including the decision to leave. Stage 5. Resignation and submission. You have tried everything. You have adjusted, you have accommodated, you have changed. And nothing restores the beginning. And you cannot leave because your brain is chemically attached and your sense of reality has been systematically dismantled. So you stay, and you adapt, and you make yourself smaller. And you call it love because you do not have another word for what you feel. Stage 6. Loss of self. The person you were before this relationship, your opinions, your friendships, your sense of what you wanted from life, has quietly disappeared. Not dramatically, incrementally. You did not notice it happening because each individual change seemed small. But one day you look in the mirror and you do not recognize who is looking back. Stage 7. Emotional addiction. By this stage, the trauma bond is complete. Your nervous system is calibrated to this cycle. Your brain needs the highs that only come after the lows. Leaving does not just mean losing a relationship. It means losing your primary source of neurochemical reward. It means going through withdrawal. It means facing a void where your entire emotional architecture used to live. That is why leaving feels impossible. Not because you are weak, because you are addicted to a cycle that was designed, consciously or not, to make you exactly this attached. Part 4. What actually breaks a trauma bond? And now, finally, the part that matters most. Because understanding what a trauma bond is does not break it. Knowledge helps, but it is not enough on its own. Here is what actually works. First, physical distance, whenever possible. The brain cannot heal from an addiction when the source of the addiction is still present. Every contact, even painful contact, even angry contact, even contact that feels like closure, reactivates the neurochemical cycle. Distance is not a punishment. It is medicine. It is giving your nervous system the space it needs to begin recalibrating. If complete no contact is not possible, minimize contact as much as your situation allows. Every reduction matters. Second, understanding that withdrawal is real. When you create distance from a trauma bond, you will feel worse before you feel better. Not because leaving was wrong, because your nervous system is going through genuine withdrawal. The grief, the desperate urge to reach out, the physical ache, the intrusive thoughts. These are withdrawal symptoms. They are real. They are temporary. And they are proof that what you experienced was not a simple choice or a simple attachment. Name it. This is withdrawal. This is my nervous system healing. This will pass. Third, rebuilding your sense of reality. One of the most important parts of breaking a trauma bond is rebuilding your trust in your own perception, your own memory, your own judgment, your own sense of what you need and what you deserve. This takes time, and it usually takes help. A therapist who understands trauma bonding and narcissistic abuse can be the difference between understanding this intellectually and actually healing from it in your nervous system. You deserve that support, not as a luxury, as a necessity. Fourth, filling the void with real connection. The neurochemical void left by a trauma bond is real, and it needs to be filled. Not with another intense attachment, not with another relationship that recreates the cycle, but with genuine, stable, consistent human connection. People who are reliably kind, reliably present, reliably safe. That reliability will feel boring at first, less intense, less alive. That flatness is withdrawal talking. Push through it, because what is waiting on the other side of the withdrawal? Genuine, stable love and connection is worth everything the flatness costs. Fifth, grieving what was never real. One of the most painful parts of healing from a trauma bond is grieving not just the relationship, but the version of the relationship you were always trying to get back to. That version, the love bombing, the beginning, the intensity that felt like being truly seen, was real in the sense that you felt it, but it was not a sustainable offer. It was a pattern. And grieving the loss of something that was never going to be what it seemed is a specific and necessary kind of grief. Let yourself feel it. It is real. And it needs to move through you in order for you to move forward. The truth that sets you free. Here's where I want to leave you. If you are in a trauma bond right now, if you recognize your own life in what you just heard, I need you to hear this. The fact that you cannot simply choose to leave does not mean you are weak. It means your brain is working exactly as human brains work when they are exposed to this specific pattern. You were not fooled because you were naive. You were bonded because you were human. And healing from a trauma bond is not about finding the strength to leave. It is about understanding what happened to your nervous system and then giving that nervous system the time, the distance, the support, and the genuine connection it needs to heal. That healing is possible, completely, for everyone who has been through this. Not quickly, not without pain, but completely. You did not fail this relationship. This relationship failed you. And you deserve, with everything that means, something real. If this video helped you finally understand something you have been living with for a long time, please share it with one person who needs it. Because somewhere right now, someone is asking themselves why they cannot leave, and they deserve to know the real answer. Subscribe, because what is coming next goes even deeper into the psychology that shapes our most important relationships. I will see you in the next one.